Blech. What is interesting about all of these characters that we care about, and that they are people that clearly have suffered through traumatic experience. They suffer from PTSD, and they've done horrible, monstrous things that we are just not aware of. That is what's not being said. Is it true? No. Maybe when we watch and find out, we'll see, oh, we were led to believe it, but it's really not that bad. Like, just sitting and shuddering at what happened to Jackie. Why isn't Jackie alive today? That something must have been so fucking gnarly. And it was actually, and here's another piece that I read. I can't take credit for this. I will take credit for there's one observation that I had that I shared with you. That was my personal observation when I was reading the article. This is from an article. They talked about the emotional violence of that final confrontation between Jackie and Shauna.
Yeah.
And how it was violent, but it just wasn't like visceral violence. It was brutal, man. It was brutal. It was two best friends that love each other who finally are saying what they really think about each other for the first time as secrets are revealed. Jackie read Shauna's diary, and Shauna feels betrayed that Jackie would read her diary, but she had good reason to, because Shauna was keeping things from her. And then this is the thing. She says, you're so basic, you're so empty. Shauna says about Jackie that you're so basic, you're so empty, you're a narcissist, you think, you don't consider other people. And what is it that, and she says something about, high school. This is what she says. Hold on, let me pull it up. I'm going to want to read exactly what it was, because it was just so good. And this is what I said to you as well. This just popped out at me, and I was like, I have to share this I've been bothering Jason all week with various little things. Without hesitating, Shauna fires right back. I'm sure everyone at home is so fucking sad to lose their perfect little princess, but they'll never know how tragic and boring and insecure you really are, she growls. And here's what really, this blew my mind when I was watching this, or how high school was the best your life was ever gonna get. These are the kinds of darts only best friends can throw. The ones precision targeted to hit soft spots the assailant knows all too well. And then I said to you, when Shauna steals Jeff, she steals what would have been Jackie's post-high school glory as well.
Yeah.
A mediocre, quiet, empty suburban life. That is what might have been awaiting Jackie. And that is like Shauna's albatross for what she did. She coveted. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you were right. Yeah, it's like her penance almost.
Yeah, she covets her best friend's boyfriend, and gets the validation that she wants from the relationship, but doesn't realize that she essentially is, by wearing Jackie's shoes, she's never taking them off. And Jackie was gonna peak in high school and was gonna end up marrying Jeff, even though that's not what she wanted to do. And she was gonna squeeze out a kid and just sort of have this boring, quiet, suburban life on Long Island, New York. And that would have been, I think they're in Long Island, pretty sure. And that would have been it. And that's her life. And so that's just really sort of interesting to note as well, in terms of brutal. Were you a little let down by how Jackie perished?
To be honest, yes. I think it worked dramatically very well, but as a filmmaker or writer, I see the pertinence of it, but yeah, I mean, has somebody who does want to see some of the more sensational elements, I would have liked to have seen that happen, in the mushroom thing, at the peak of that, something happened. I wanted to see something happen to her, and maybe that's a flaw on my part, but I wanted to see it come to a violent end. I just have to admit that's what I was expecting. That's kind of what I wanted. I'm fine with how it turned out, but I wanted something more climactic.
See, I it was, I said to you leading up, I said someone's got to get eaten. Something really fucked up has to happen in that final episode, or else, you know, they really are. They've really taken a lot of our goodwill, and we haven't minded giving it. But you have to give us something big in that final episode. And initially, I felt the same way. Like, that's it. She gets left out in the cold. But the longer that I've thought about it, up until we've done the show, the more I realize how perfect it is. Because going back to that article I read, it was violent. It was crazy. They all turned on her and they literally push her out into the cold.
Right.
And, you know, Taisha, I think her name is, the actress that you love so much. Jasmine, she makes mention of, you can't fall asleep in the cold because it will, freezing to death will feel like you're falling asleep. And that's literally what happens to Jackie.
That's right.
And it's, you know what? It's not violent, but it's incredibly savage and brutal.
And cruel. Yeah.
And cruel. She literally, it's so sad. She spends her final moments, like, it really was a doom coming for her. It really was the end of her life. She was living her life like it was the last days of her life, because it was.
You know what? Before you go on, this is a perfect example too of how people need to, like, let go of our expectations and let a story unfold. And because what you're saying now is, like, perfectly making sense to me. And if I hadn't have held on so strong to my preconceived notion of how I thought things were going to wrap up, I think I would have got more out of that. You know, I'm definitely going to watch the finale again.
Listen, I'm a little bit in that boat as well with you, because, like I said, I was expecting something a lot more. I was expecting sensational. We got a lot of little chewy bits to chew on in those last 15 minutes, and that Jackie's death was one of them. But here's the thing: we still might get our cake and eat it too, because
I think
here's the big question. No, I'm talking about with Jackie. Here's the big question for you: the winter has come. Winter has finally come, as they used to say in the Game of Thrones. And they're eating their bear meat. But Jackie's body is frozen cold. She's going to be the first one that's eaten.
I think that's good. I think that's a good bet. Although this is a show that's been upending expectations, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
It really sets up, like, that they bury her in a shallow grave.
Yeah.
And she is preserved enough that when that bear runs out, that's what so Shauna is going to come. I don't think we're done with Shauna's guilt that we're seeing at the reunion, because Shauna is going to come face to face with keeping her baby alive by eating her best friend, literally eating her best friend, or, dying. Right. And we all know that Shauna is in 2021. So if they don't go there, I think it would be a really crazy missed opportunity. I just don't see how Jackie is not the first one to be eaten. The whole season, I was like, Jackie is clearly eaten if she's not in 2020.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
So to me, I'm like, it has to start somewhere.